Ace Podcast.
So, Ryan, the new hit DC movie, Wonder Woman, just came out. What do you think of it, buddy?
Well, it's really, it's just different.
Blood and Black Rum Podcast presents Wonder Woman! Hey guys, welcome back to the Blood and Black Rum Podcast. I'm Ryan from the moonisdeadworld.net, and I'm joined by my co-host Martin.
How's it going?
And we're back with episode 70 of the podcast. Coming up to the 2-year anniversary of this. Been doing it for 2 years now.
Almost.
How much have we changed in the 2 years?
A lot. We have grown tremendously.
Yeah.
We're the little podcast that could.
That's right. We're doing it up. We're getting out there. And we're enjoying films. And every year that we go on, we just do more and more films. Important films. Films that matter.
Terminator Salvation.
Yeah.
Not Salvation.
Terminator Genesis.
That's it.
Tremors 5. The important films. So it's pretty interesting that
we got off a little bit of a mission statement.
Yeah, a little bit. But, we're up almost 2 years, so that'll happen in July.
July 5th.
Yeah, July 5th is the 2-year.
The exact date, so.
The exact date we'll be recording on, but we'll release the podcast episode on July 6th.
Well, maybe we'll rush it out.
Yeah, we'll get it out. Yeah.
You'll take the day off, because after 4th of July, you might as well.
That's right.
Just, why not?
Yeah. But before all that occurs and we get to our 2-year anniversary, we do have a new film for today, and it falls in line with some of the other stuff that we've done on the podcast before, because we are a podcast that basically does all the superhero movies now, too. Not only do we do, like, horror and giallo films, but superhero films are right on in there, too.
We're a whore for the hits.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You gotta do the new stuff, or else no one will recognize you. So, no, but we did venture out on Sunday night. We saw the new DC film Wonder Woman, which is getting surprisingly good reviews, pretty much across the board. I think what did it have on Rotten Tomatoes? Like a 96 at one point.
I haven't paid. You were the
Something
one.
Like
you were the one that brought it.
It was
up.
like certified fresh and it had a pretty high rating on it. I don't know if it's there at this point because it's been out for a little while. It's probably gotten a few more reviews, and I don't know if it's exactly that high on Rotten Tomatoes, but
it's
definitely
still in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was getting a lot of high reviews, and pretty much everybody was remarking that this is the best DC movie in the film universe so far, and I have to agree. It certainly is. I came out of it and I said Wonder Woman is definitely the best film in the DC universe so far that we've seen. Better than Suicide Squad, for sure. And I have to remark right now, there are no, remixed rock songs or repurposed rock songs in here. For good measure, too, because this is a World War I film and they don't really belong. I mean, even hearing like the Beatles in a film about World War I would seem a little off.
I was expecting the opening to be like her walking into the... What is it? That's the Louvre, right?
What's that?
The place she...
Oh, I believe... Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's... I don't know if we actually got a location, did we? For where it was? I wasn't paying attention enough to really say like what it was.
You're the French maid.
Was it the Arc de Triomphe? Was it the Louvre? I mean, it was like a museum, right?
I know.
Yeah.
I should know this. Not clear head thinking right now.
I mean, I can't.
So but I know it's like
It was one of those in France. Something important.
That gets destroyed in every disaster.
Yeah.
I
don't recall exactly what it was. If I had to guess, maybe it was the Arc de Triomphe.
But when she was walking into, I was expecting let's maybe have some Steppenwolf playing Magic Carpet Ride. Set the mood.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say that I was a little surprised that there were no like classic rock songs, especially watching some of the trailers that they put out of like just some very terrible generic rock music set to action sequences.
Very generic, terrible trailers.
Yeah.
The trailers, I didn't see the trailers for this movie until right before we started the podcast. And I'm glad I didn't, because those trailers do not make me like go, oh, I gotta see this movie.
Yeah.
They're the most generic, like, here's some random action scenes. And like, here's that little like, ooh, she said something snarky. I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, watch out.
Or there's like there's action sequences and then like to lighten the mood a little bit, here's a little bit of humor. Here's a little, making sure that Zack Snyder's universe, his DC universe, it's not so bleak and dark. There's a little glimmer of humor in it.
But we have like 4 films already that have been totally humorless.
True.
So why start now?
Why start now? That's right. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised a little bit seeing the trailers and, the generic rock music, and certainly that's the MO for most of DC's lineup is let's throw some kind of unnecessary rock music in there to spice things up a little bit. But thankfully, that's also missing from Wonder Woman. And yeah, so I mean, pretty much, I just wanted to start off the intro by saying definitely the best DC film that we've seen thus far.
But what was the review leaving the film that I gave it? It's my famous line that I say for every movie that's very middle of the road.
I'm not sure. I don't know what you said.
It's a movie.
It is a movie. It's a movie.
And that's what I will say. When I left this, you're right. When I left the theater, I did say, well, it is the best DC film in this new universe so far. At the same time, well, it's a movie, all right. I mean, it's motion pictures.
We'll start by, before we get into the actual film review and stuff itself, would you say that you think that this movie, meshes with Marvel's universe? Is it as good as a Marvel film? Is it...
I would say it's a low-tier Marvel film.
Low tier? Like, probably one of the lesser... I mean, I don't know. We haven't seen that very many Marvel films.
Thank you. I was just about to preface that. Though I haven't seen... And I have admitted before, I have not gone out of my way to see all the Marvel films. I've seen a few of them. The ones that I have seen, I fairly enjoyed. I liked quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I think this is the best DC film, but it's still...
Yeah.
I and we'll talk about more when we get more in depth into the review, but I don't really see the whole ultimate, like just overflowing, gushing praise for this film
that some reviews have garnered. And I think others have been a lot more middle of the road and really grounded in the reality of saying, it is it's a good DC movie. But then when compared to more summer blockbusters or some action films, even some of the best of Marvel's canon, it doesn't compare. And there are some huge flaws in it itself. And there's a reason why it doesn't compare to Marvel. Because if we're just comparing, two superhero films, you would think, for the most part, Wonder Woman follows the same premise as a Marvel film and really steps outside of like what the DC universe has done previously. This is not as convoluted as Suicide Squad, as poorly edited as Suicide Squad, and it's not as over the top ridiculous
and brooding
and
Man of Steel and
I won't say Batman that as Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. It definitely steps outside of those, and it seems like they've learned something.
Well, I mean,
really.
To be fair, I wouldn't say it's necessarily them taking cues from Marvel, because comic books, whether it be DC, Marvel, Image, Archie, they all inherently have like certain vibes and trope, and that goes with DC and Marvel with like superheroes. Like, though they can be serious and dark and grounded, there's always a sense of humor and like levity to the situation. Mileage varies on where they go with it. Mm-hmm. I think the problem with the early DC films is they're Zack Snyder films, except Suicide Squad, which is David Ayer. But as we know, that was a total fucking convoluted mess because of
an attempt to, get it into
more into like lighter. Whereas the two Zack Snyder films have been no humor to be found at all. Very whiny, bitchy, melancholy melodramas where they kind of realize people are like, okay, people really like the Nolan grounded universe, but this is taking it not just trying to ground it, but then like turning it into a soap opera.
Mm-hmm.
Suicide Squad should be something more fun, but they fuck it up in how they, edit it and present it and everything with it. So they missed the mark on that, not because of they were trying to go for a lighter side. The fact that they were trying to have more levity in it doesn't mean it failed because of that. It means they fucked it up and then its total essence is what fucked that film up.
Yeah.
And then I think Wonder Woman, out of all of them, it gets all of that to a point.
Yeah.
And I think it's helped by the fact Zack Snyder is not directing this and
not directing it. It has a better story that's more
which he is a writer.
I mean, he had the story concept, but
I think
that like it's better grounded in Wonder Woman's actual backstory and the concept, rather than like Batman v Superman wasn't really grounded in a concept per se. Like, here's Batman from where he started to where he is now fighting crime, or
which, thinking about it now, what a jump the gun situation. You had Man of Steel to start this.
Yep.
Which I don't even think at the time when they made Man of Steel, they were thinking about a universe.
No.
They were probably just thinking like, okay, we're going to start a new Superman line.
Exactly.
But then, because you got to think, this is like 5 years ago now.
Because it was actually almost like a Superman version of Nolan's Batman at that point, because we're in that sort of, okay, Nolan's Batman movies have been doing very well, so maybe we'll give Superman his own chance. Not a Nolan movie, but in a similar vein.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like the
original plan, but then after, Marvel, after a couple of years have been having success with this, we have a schedule, we have a plan. They're not movies, essentially, they're just long fucking TV episodes, and, it's the modern day serial.
Yeah.
Except long. And they're like, well, shit, we gotta do that now, so they rushed, instead of doing like Superman 2 or whatever, like, well, we'll do Batman v Superman. So you don't even get like a Batman movie to ground Batman in this new universe. You just have, you got Bruce Wayne, he's a miserable fuck, and you got Superman, he's a miserable fuck. They're gonna fight.
Yeah.
A movie that should have been saved probably till, if you ask me at least, if I was planning it out, I would have saved that to like after Justice League. Probably till like after Justice League 2. Because then you could have something happen in Justice League 2 where Bruce and Clark, they don't like each other anymore.
Right. There's no impetus for them to not like each other in Batman v Superman. So,
well, at least the reasons they give don't make sense, as we talked about with that. But at least with, like if I was setting it up, have your Superman film, have your Batman film, have your Wonder Woman film.
Yeah. Something like that.
And then you could have a Justice League film. Like again, not saying they have to do more, but it would just make sense to do that. And you can have them introduced then to lead the Justice League, and then you can have them have their sequels on their own stories, which grow them as characters, and then lead to like Justice League 2, and that would make more sense for Batman and Superman to not want to, be friends anymore and work together.
Yeah.
That would make more sense, but now it's like, I don't like you, we're gonna fight. Like, they're like just drunken assholes, like, at a bar, like they just bumped into each other, like Clark spilled beer on Bruce's, petticoat at a bar. He's like, I'm gonna fight you, asshole.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have started out with Batman v Superman either, and I wouldn't have gone right from Man of Steel to something like Wonder Woman, because you're gonna have the goons out there who's like, Wonder Woman, I don't really care about her, so, as like a starting point, since Man of Steel was so far back. So yeah, you're right. I would have started with something like, maybe give Batman a new film with grounded in that universe, or maybe
you can't even use the excuse that like, well, it's only a couple years removed from Nolan. Think of all like the Hulk reboots and all the Spider-Man,
Spider-Man everywhere.
Like they're like. Yeah. Sony wastes they waste no time, like, or the Ed Norton Hulk failed, we're gonna have a new next.
I would have even maybe done like an Aquaman or something like that to kind of build into the universe. And then, you're right, do Batman v Superman later, and Suicide Squad probably after Justice League.
Yeah, there's no point in having having two.
Exactly. Yeah. Now you don't need really Suicide Squad
because if you think about it canonically with like what's going on in the film franchise so far in the DC universe, nothing in the Suicide Squad that happens has any bearing so far on the building to Justice League. The only bearing it has is at the very end, the end credits when Bruce is talking to Amanda Waller to try to find out where these metahumans are so he can form the Justice League. Which you don't need to do the Suicide Squad to get to that.
No, and Justice League is generally around before Suicide Squad anyway. So it's not really like Amanda Waller's thing, and then Batman's like, that's a pretty good idea, except instead of getting like ultra violent.
You don't think Batman would? Yeah, you don't think Batman would have thought about
guys.
Not only that, but like after like the fight with Doomsday when it was just him, Superman, Wonder Woman, it took everything to beat Doomsday, and they're like, well, I do know there's other metahumans out there.
Yeah, maybe we need to enlist their help.
Maybe we should form. Apparently the world's greatest detective can't can't figure it out. Come on.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break real quick and talk about our beer, and then we'll get into the meat of Wonder Woman.
All right.
Sup, everyone? This is DK, the host of Vaguely Accurate, a science show delivering you the stories of cutting-edge research. We give early career researchers a voice by offering them the platform to talk openly and freely about their research while simultaneously challenging them to explain their work to a lay audience. It's the perfect show for anyone interested in health, science, medicine, or news that doesn't need the background in any of these fields. Find out what's happening in academia simply. If you would like the opportunity to feature on the show, get in contact with us at vaguelyaccurate.com. You can find all the details on our website or at vaguecomments@gmail.com. Cheers, guys. Hear from you soon.
And we're back. So we got a new beer on the podcast tonight. This is one. I mean, we've had this brand before
several times.
Several times we've had a variety of this brand, and generally they don't even really do that much of a variety, but they've been trying to think outside the box for a little bit and change things up and try out new styles.
I'm not quite sure why.
I don't know.
I think, as we've said before,
I think it's probably just to sell new things to people who are looking for craft style, and they want to try it. Maybe they're curious like us, probably. But we're talking about Guinness, which, as you know, we've had on here. We've had the Rye Pale Ale on here. We've had
Nitro IPA.
The Nitro IPA. We've done all of their like foreign stout, extra stout,
regular stout.
Yep. And today we've got their sort of summer style experiment, which is their Irish Wheat, which is pretty interesting because upon first taste, you'll notice that there's nothing in it that really makes it taste like an Irish wheat.
It tastes like a Belgian wheat ale.
It tastes like a Belgian wheat ale. It tastes a lot like one of our local Belgian style brewers, which is Ommegang. And you'll taste right away the Belgian-y wheat because it's a very iconic taste. You can smell it, you can taste it, you know exactly
the crisp, refreshing.
Exactly. Yeah, it has a very, very stylish taste to it that you can pick out. And this Irish wheat tastes a lot like a Belgian wheat. And I don't know what makes it exactly an Irish wheat.
Well, like I said, I think they just slapped that on there. It's like, oh, it's a Guinness, so,
So it's Irish. And, it's technically made in Ireland.
Because, the people of Ireland are clamoring for a fucking...
Yeah,
an Irish wit beer. And no. I will say I'm shocked and surprised. Because, as we've talked about before, Guinness's selection outside of their normal fare, and by normal fare I'd say their Guinness, extra, and foreign, is very hit or miss.
Yeah.
Their black lager is an abomination.
yeah, just putting it mildly.
The Nitro IPA is very underwhelming. The rye was okay.
Yeah. The other one that what's the blonde? The blonde.
The blonde is very, mediocre.
Yeah.
Not bad, but it's very mediocre. When we had like those two different porters, the Dublin and West Indies.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was the West Indies one that was the better one.
Yeah.
And the Dublin one not so much. Because the West Indies, and I could be mixing it up, but one of them I remember being very good and like a great heavier porter, and the other one like there's no point to this. So when it comes to them doing new things, they're very hit or miss. They either do pretty good or they're very mediocre to not enjoyable at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually happy to say, because I am a wit beer fan, Almagang's Hennepin's one of my favorite beers. Not just by them, but in general. It's not my favorite Almagang. My Rare Moss is still my favorite. So enjoyable. But I will say that it's not bad.
Yeah,
I think it actually captures a Belgian wit beer pretty good. I mean, you can tell it like in certain areas how it's slightly off, but it's not bad. It's actually pretty good for the style and refreshing.
Yeah, they definitely get it right with, what it says on the bottle is pretty true. Zesty citrus, subtle clove, and banana notes. And that's pretty much exactly like what a Belgian style wit would be.
And good, we should say good banana
good
notes.
banana notes, yes, not overpowering.
Like your Hefeweizens.
Right, exactly. It's a very subtle banana note, and certainly citrusy, like a summer style should be. And I think that it's very drinkable, which is another huge plus for Guinness. Like, it's not... In some of the other experimental Guinness beers that we've had, like, the end result, the final, like, taste left in your mouth is kind of not great. You get
the Nitro IPA is one of them.
Yeah, you get like a
very off-putting taste at the end.
Yeah, and this is not so at all. This is very drinkable. We've already put away almost 6. So
and that might be helped by the fact that we had our first non-rainy day in 2 months.
True. It was almost 80 degrees today. But it's a very solid wit beer, and I think that that's probably the best thing that you can say for this is that it's really meshing with what it says it is. Because that happens a lot of times with the Guinness experimental beers is that it's not really the style that they're saying it is. Now, tacking on that Irish part of the wheat, I got a question. I don't really know what an Irish style wheat is anyway. I don't think it's really a thing.
No,
so
I don't.
There's not like somebody out there that's going to be like, hey, that's not really matching the Irish style wheat. But it's certainly a very Belgian style wheat, and I think it's pretty good.
I would drink this over a Blue Moon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In a heartbeat.
Because Blue Moon is kind of like the filtered down, whittled down wheat that's very easy to drink for the random person who's not really looking for a lot of complex flavors within that beer. And that's why a lot of times it's paired with an orange.
Yeah,
because you need the citrus cut.
Yeah, they want to look fancy. Like, look at me with my...
Yeah. I'm not saying that Blue Moon is a bad beer to have, or that I'm not sometimes just looking for a regular style Blue Moon and having a little orange with it and tasting that, nice wheat and orange citrus flavor. But at the same time, there's a lot more complexity to a Belgian style wheat that you get those banana notes. You get a little bit of clove, and it's a little more complex, and
that's why Almagang's so great.
That's right.
Being a Belgian style brewer,
you can
owned by Duvel Morton guy. They get it. That's why I love them, and you get to experience all that. But that being said, I will say this is because to be honest with you, outside of Almagang, at least around here, not a lot of Belgian styles.
Yeah,
and that breaks my heart.
Yeah, it's it's. I like it, and I would say, like you said, you probably wouldn't get it again. You'd probably just swing for an Almagang because they're about the same price.
Same price points.
And at the same time, I gotta say that Almagang does it slightly better. But
they are a Belgian brewer. So.
But they are a Belgian brewer. They get their all their ingredients straight from Belgium and whatever they can source from local, which isn't that much, honestly, because there's not a lot of people around here that are growing Belgian style.
They don't have I think
hops and stuff like that.
Out because they're based out in Cooperstown, as we all know, in the Baseball Hall of Fame. They have a hop garden behind Doubleday Field.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're wrong. I literally hope somebody goes down to Cooperstown now and looks for that hop garden behind.
But I've got to toast Guinness because they did a pretty good job with this, and I think that's, it's probably one of their best experimental beers that they have out.
It's probably my second favorite.
Yeah.
I lied. No, it's my favorite. Because I'm thinking of I'm trying to think of the experimental ones. And the one I was thinking that was above it, it's not an experimental one. It's just like a...
Just their foreign stout?
No, not that. I was thinking like the West Indies porter.
Oh, the West... Yeah, that one is really good, too. But that's like an old style. It's not even really
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So for this, like, I would say the experimentals would be this, the black lager.
They're blonde.
The American blonde. The nitro, the rye.
Yeah.
And no, I would say this is...
And I think the Irish Wheat is probably the best of those.
Yeah, by far.
Seriously. Very good. And I would encourage everybody to check it out if you're interested. At first, you were thinking this was not going to be like a promising...
Not at all.
Beer to have on the show. Just doing it because we've done all the other ones and we might as well check it out.
Well, that's how it... Because I am not as big... I used to be a pretty big Guinness fan. Mm-hmm. They used to be not my favorite brewer, but they used to be up there. Like, as like... a nice Guinness at a pub with, some wings or something. Like a delicious treat. And just like... I'm not trying to sound snobby, but just like as I've, grown a little older, it's just... The mystique has been totally worn off. I'm not I think a decline in the product quality has been part of it.
Yeah.
But it's just not. They don't do it for as much for me as they used to.
No, I agree.
Especially with the experimental ones, because the first one was the black lager. I remember trying that enthusiastically and being so disappointed and so like angry about it.
And it also has to do with just having better style stouts and trying new things and finding there are people that do it better because they put a lot of time into it. They haven't grown up so much where it's kind of a process at that point where it's just like pump it out. It shows when you have it. So I think that's probably a part of that as well. One thing I do want to point out before we kind of end the beer talk is that we are still looking for some of the other Guinness, or not Guinness, I'm sorry. Now I'm getting caught up. Genesee batch, the pilot batch series, which we have not had on the show yet.
Like the Hellas Bach.
Yes, the Hellas Bach.
I'll try to next week. I'll try to get it. There's a place an hour away that's got it.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying if anybody has them around, let us know. You could send them to us, and we'd obviously give you a shout out and stuff on the show.
I think they got the Smash there too, which is one of the ones I really wanted to try. Is their single malt, single hop ale.
Yeah. And it's we try to do most of them, and we try to do it in a series too. We try to do as many of these local breweries and stuff as possible, so that there's kind of like a compilation of what we've done on the show.
Yeah. But no, like I said, I'll try to go. If it's nice out next week, I'll go into it. But
yeah.
But I don't like that's the thing though. I don't kind of understand how like some of the pilot batches get released around here, then others don't.
Yeah, I don't know why.
And we're only 2.5, 3 hours away from Rochester, so I don't. We're right in their wheelhouse.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
So I don't get it. I the only thing I can think of is just people around here that sell stuff. They're like, okay, that's the main one. Like you're pushing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we'll get that.
Yeah.
And we won't pick up the other one.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the only thing I can think of.
I want to try that new Hellas Bach. That sounds good. Sounds different, and I'm interested and I'm intrigued. And I hope that they bring back that Oktoberfest again this year.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, that was delightful.
That was great.
We'll have that on the show again, just because. Just like we're doing Oktoberfest again.
You know what? I'm pretty sure that's gonna become like
a staple point.
Of the Bach.
Yeah.
But at the same time, everybody loves 12 horse ale.
True.
And
it's
gone. And they haven't done it in like 4 years.
No, we haven't done it on the show either.
And I love 12
what about
horse.
Fife and Drum?
That's
never been a big thing from them. But.
No, I wish I still kept my Fife and Drum summer beer and like the bottle, because I had the bottles from them, then I got rid of them because I'm like, I don't need space.
Yeah.
Now I wish I kept them. No, I don't know why they just don't do it. Like, I guess, again, especially with the 12 horse.
Yeah.
There are people, I see
It's a popular one.
I see people all the time on Facebook like, why don't you make 12 horse ale anymore? They used to make that like since like the 30s. So it's like,
well, it's probably because they just have no room to make it now that they're doing other
you
stuff.
can make 12 horse ale over Jenny Light or Jenny Ice.
True. Cut one of those out.
You could get rid of Jenny Ice. Have you ever seen a 12 pack of Jenny Ice around here? No, you only see, or a 30 pack. You only see Jenny Ice in a tall boy. Yeah. Why? Because it's an ice beer. So it's inherently garbage.
It's true. All right, we got a lot to talk about for Wonder Woman, so we're going to take a break. We're going to hear from another one of our fellow podcast members in the Ace Podcast Network. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about some Wonder Woman and about the pros and cons of that film.
There are cons?
I know you're joking.
Welcome to Confession Radio, the show where people write in for advice. My name's Piers Ray.
My name is Eric Ivanovich.
My name is Bruce Wozniak.
My name is Lainey Zuckerman.
My name is Dr. Latrice Drain.
My name is Dr. John McGrail.
And my name is David Allen, creator and host of Confession Radio. Here at Confession Radio, we love to help other people. As you heard, some of the awesome elite team that we have that are willing to help you with your problems. Don't forget to visit the website, confessionradio.net. You can hear us on iTunes, Stitcher, anywhere you listen to your podcasts. And also, we are featured on iHeartRadio. So stay tuned because here comes Confession Radio.
Confession Radio is for entertainment purposes only.
All right, before we get into Wonder Woman, though, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to somebody who's been really appreciating our work, and we are really appreciative back because it's not often that we get like a lot of commentary about what we do. So it's nice to hear back from people and find out how people are enjoying the show, because it's kind of like we're talking into the ether and we don't know what's happening, if anybody's listening to us. So
well, that's the internet. So
that's right. Yeah, you never know really. But we just want to thank J Movie Talk Podcast. He's at J Movie Talk on Twitter. Has been giving us some shout outs lately. A really nice shout out that he gave us the other day was basically just appreciating our work. And he said, I've listened to a few of your episodes and really enjoy the show. And we love hearing that. We really do. Not that people are like, wow, the Blood and Black Rum podcast are so great, but just that they like listening to us, because that's why we do it. And, we're not here to just talk to ourselves, although that is what we do most of the time. So really, though, thank you, J Movie Talk Podcast, for listening and to letting us know that you really like the show. We really appreciate that, and we love to hear from you. And, definitely check out J Movie Talk Podcast as well, because
he's in the same wheelhouse.
That's right. He's in the same wheelhouse. We need to stick together as podcasters, and we definitely want to promote him as well. So thanks a lot. All right, now on to our show. I need an announcer or something. Some guy's like, coming to you from Mayfield, New York.
They have like Bob Shepard.
Yeah.
Number 2.
That's right.
Ryan Barber.
I need something. I need something like that. I can't do all of the voice work. If I was, I'd have to like go and edit it down and like make it like deeper or make it,
I'd have to work.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. No, I need somebody to just do it for me.
What a goddamn shame.
That's right. All right, so Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman.
No Linda Carter. Why no cameo?
There is no Linda Carter cameo, but there is a thank you to her at the end of the film. Oh, and we should say this right now. People listening, wondering about Wonder Woman, don't stick around for the credits. You don't have to. There are no post-credit scenes, which is pretty surprising to me, because I was thinking Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 already outdid themselves with like 4 end credit scenes. So I was thinking like Wonder Woman would come back and be like, well, we gotta do one extra.
I don't remember Man of Steel having one, but Batman v Superman did, and so did Suicide Squad.
It's kind of the de rigueur now. Yeah.
Well, no, like I said, it makes sense because these are the modern day serials.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
You want like kind of that ending part of like, tune in next time.
Yeah, like Previously on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, exactly.
Goku sat and shat for 20 minutes, powering up as Krillin sat there in awe. And Frieza trembled in fear. Tune in next episode. That's what these...
Goku popped an enema.
It's what they are like, but I mean...
Yeah, exactly.
It does make sense, though. One, because it's a good way to connect to the next film. Not necessarily has to be a
direct connection.
But
it doesn't need to be like...
But it segues into the idea.
Yeah.
And not in the future where this is going.
Yeah.
It makes sense. No, in these films, it totally makes sense to do that. Why it didn't do this with this?
Very surprising. I don't know. I was totally expecting it.
I mean, I don't know. The only thing I can guess is because this is a flashback film.
Yeah, maybe.
So there's no point in having Bruce show up to where Wonder Woman is and be like, "Are you ready? After I found that picture for you ready to form the Justice League?"
Well, I mean, I could totally see...
I gotta make a better film than my brother, damn it. He was nominated for several Oscars again.
I could totally see him showing up just so that she could thank him or something and have a little discussion about what's going on in the rest of the universe.
That would make no sense. Why at this point would Wonder Woman thank him?
She wanted the picture.
She's fucking Wonder Woman.
She wanted to see it again.
Who is he? He's fucking Bruce Wayne at this point.
Yeah, I know.
What is so far in this universe, what has Batman done that's wow. That the god that people make Batman to be out to. Wonder Woman should be like, I'm fucking Wonder Woman.
True. Amazonian.
Especially now, 100 years, essentially 100 years living with man. It's not like 100 years in, she's still like, people are good. She's probably jaded.
I was thinking that. I was wondering how she was
sitting at her museum desk, smoking a cigarette, I should have just stayed out of mascara.
Honestly, I'm wondering how she responded to 9/11. Because
we had to go there.
Well, I was sitting in the theater thinking about that because this is how she responds to World War I. Okay, she's like,
World War I. This might piss off some people. So this is gonna be a hot take. World War I, little bit bigger of an issue than 9/11.
True.
Granted, the means started the war. Slightly more minuscule.
Yeah, but I mean...
But at the same time, the overall... I mean...
I'm just thinking in terms of this was her first experience with man. And so I was just wondering, now that she's had, 100 years to ponder and live within the times, when 9/11 occurs, is she just like, fuck those terrorist bastards. They're not good. They're just... I hate them. I hate those people like everybody else. Or is she like, they still have the capacity for good in them? And it's just Ares coming back again.
Isn't that the crux of the film?
Yeah. Well, all right, let's talk about the film itself, because we're getting kind of off topic, and I don't want to talk about Batman v Superman anymore. We've already beaten that horse 5 times in different episodes, so we don't need to talk about it yet again.
If the horse doesn't die, you can beat it some more.
That's right. But
it's the same thing with Suicide Squad.
All right, so Wonder Woman is it's an origin story, really. The beginning of it, the opening, takes place after the events of Batman v Superman, obviously, because we see the photograph that Bruce Wayne has found of Wonder Woman, how he knows that she's Wonder Woman, and she's kind of reminiscing. She's reminiscing, and that's
the good old days of when man was slaughtering each other with gas and machine guns and not nuclear weapons.
That's true, yeah.
But that's just imagine her sitting like the good old days.
But I mean, basically, that's the framing story, right? Is that she's just kind of sitting there thinking about what happened and how she came to be Wonder Woman in the 21st century. And I think that, for the most part, the framing story is kind of unnecessary. I mean, we don't really need to see it. The only reason that it's there is because it's linked to Batman v Superman. In no other way does this really need to be
I will
framed.
I'll give it a pass. I think, I'm not saying it has to be framed. I think, though, it works better, though. I think if you just jump into a
Wonder Woman origin story,
it wouldn't work, because the whole fact is, the whole crux of, well, not the whole crux of the film, but the whole concept is tied to this continuing universe.
Yeah, no.
So, like I said, as a film serial, it has to connect to the previous incarnation. Otherwise, if you went from Batman v Superman's ending to now, okay, here's the next film in the canon, and it's just like, now we're back in 1918. Yeah. People will probably be like, well, what the fuck?
Well, I think that what I'm saying is that there's no, besides that photograph, there's no other connection. So it's kind
and it's literally 3 minutes of the film that totally connect.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like it was added late or as an afterthought. It was like, well, we need to give it some sort of connection to Batman v Superman. So because otherwise this could have happened anywhere in the canon. Like we said before, it didn't have to happen after Batman v Superman. It could have happened before Batman v Superman. You really don't. It doesn't matter where it occurs.
Could have been the first film in the whole fucking
exactly, and it doesn't matter where it stands except for those framing moments, which I would have liked to have seen it pushed a little bit further as to why exactly we're getting this now and why and how it fits within that universe. Besides the fact that she just sees a photograph and thinks about it.
Well, it's happening because Bruce knows that she's a superhuman now. So
yeah,
but now that he's looking for other superhumans,
I don't think it excuses.
But at the same time, that's like so poorly covered in the theatrical cut of Batman v Superman, like the whole him, stumbling across files of Cyborg and the Flash, and it's almost like who gives a shit. So that connection that's supposed to be there is like, well, nobody. At least I didn't give a shit because it's like, well, it's so like haphazardly slapped on in Batman v Superman. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think it excuses the fact that this framing is very like nonchalant and lazy. But at the same time, I gotta say that once Wonder Woman got into the whole origin story of Wonder Woman of Diana Prince, I was pretty intrigued. I think that the opening sequence the opening part starting out with Diana Prince growing up in this Amazonian female-oriented society works pretty well. Little overly long, but at the same time, very beautifully shot. I will give it that. Patty Jenkins, as the director, has a really nice eye for those vistas.
CGI backgrounds,
but it still looks pretty good. And it's probably, if we're talking CGI, it's one of Wonder Woman's better moments. Because
Themyscira, no, you're right. Themyscira does look like a paradise.
Yeah, it does. And I don't think it looks like a totally unrealistic version of one.
No, it looks like something you could see like in the Fiji Islands or like
exactly. So I think that they did a pretty good job with that, and it definitely encompasses like the juxtaposition between here's this paradise and you're going into this world of humanity where it fucking sucks and everything is dark and Zack Snyder-y and
the Industrial Revolution was caused by Zack Snyder.
Basically,
Zack Snyder's need for graying environments. No, contrast. Okay, contrast is in the middle. You need 5,000 clicks to the left.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but I think it does give good contrast, and as part of the CGI for not only Wonder Woman but all of the DC films so far, it's probably the best. It's probably the best example of how to do the CGI correctly.
That said,
I think that the opening parts of like Diana Prince growing up in this totally female-oriented society, a little bit overly long. We didn't really need to see all of those elements played out of her training and the, Antiope being very against her training, because what does it really accomplish towards the end of when she's leaving that island? It doesn't really do that whole lot. And at 2 hours...
What was I saying? And Antiope's not her mother. That's Hippolyta's her mother.
Yes, exactly.
The warrior that ends up going against Hippolyta's word. And
it's her aunt, I think, really, is the technical jargon for family member.
Even though she was made out of clay.
Yeah. But I think that really... That whole sequence is too long, and with Wonder Woman being 2 hours and 21 minutes already, that's a lot of time to spend on Wonder Woman's backstory before we even get into her being an adult.
It's like 30, 35 minutes
long. Exactly. Yeah. It's pretty long. It's not really something that we need to be seeing. It's
especially now. Okay, if this is the 80s where comic books are still a very niche thing, and I mean very niche, it makes sense to if you wanted to if you're gonna do a film this long to go that in depth. It's 2017 now. People may not be buying comics left and right. People are pretty ingrained in the mythos of comics now.
True.
So when they do the new Batman film, if it's like 3 hours long, and they spent 30 minutes like building up to this is how Bruce Wayne becomes Batman, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
And irate because everybody in America knows how Bruce Wayne becomes Batman. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
It's literally like Greek mythology at this point.
Yeah.
We know! So, I mean, at the same time, no, Wonder Woman's not as big as Batman or Superman. She's part of the big three. It's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much, people know so much about Wonder Woman's backstory, but I think we could have used a montage edit for a lot of it. I don't know if it needed to be that long.
I mean, I'm not saying it the whole extension, this hinders the film greatly. It does. This is like a minor nitpick, but at the same time, again, it's 2017.
Right.
We have the internet. Most people, especially the people that go to see these younger people, they know most of this stuff. Whether they read the comics or not, they know. It's and at this point, there's no need to ever if you're doing an origin story, going so deep into the actual the manifestation part, at least. The fact this is an origin story doesn't mean it hampers it. It's because you can always change an origin story.
Yeah.
But the manifestation of her as a character is still the same.
Yeah.
So you don't need to expound upon that. It's the same thing with and how they start with Batman v Superman. It starts off with how seeing Bruce Wayne's parents get killed. It's everybody at this point knows how Tom and Martha Wayne gets killed.
Right.
You fucking don't need that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with Wonder Woman, it's not a huge issue, but at the same time, Wonder Woman does end up being overly long. It feels overly long at 2 hours and 21 minutes. It suffers from a lot of the same issues that other superhero movies have, is that they just expend so much time on things that really don't need to be so elaborated on. And it's not just a problem inherent to Wonder Woman, but it's pretty much across the board. But at the same time, I think that it wastes a lot of time on that scenario. And if Wonder Woman's biggest flaws is really that it is very uneven. There are a lot of moments where action scenes are pretty good. It's moving along at a fast clip. Exciting in terms of storyline and plot, and then all of a sudden you hit a wall. There's a wall, and it's wow, now this is very slow and very laborious.
Getting to London, total,
yeah,
just slammed into a wall.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say, kind of going back to the backstory real quick, I will give them credit though on the one part I will give them credit on elaborating is Ares, because as popular and as well known as Wonder Woman is, her rogues gallery, not very well known.
I don't know it at all.
Yeah.
Nope.
Ares is one of the big ones. So the fact that they kind of expounded upon that, if you don't remember your Greek mythology, that's good. So, I mean...
And actually a pretty good, artistic take on the whole mythology, too. That meshes with, art and sort of the Greek artistry of pictographs and things like that.
Yeah.
They kind of... I like that part of it. And in giving Ares that sort of backstory, it does work. And it's important to the story in the film.
So he's the villain.
Exactly. But what I will say, like we said before, is that Wonder Woman is very uneven. It has a lot of scenes where, things are moving along very quickly. We're getting to World War I. We know, we've met Chris Pine's character, Steve Trevor.
Smarmy asshole. Yes. Or they should have just named him Chris Pine. Just have Chris Pine be like, I'm Chris Pine. I was sent from the future to the past to just be a douchebag.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of that, is moving along pretty quickly. But then, yes, you're right. You get to going to London, and you're kind of at a standstill. And one of the big things with the film's non-action moments is that its script isn't written very well. I won't say, super well, but it's not that great. I I think that a lot of the problem is that the levity, the lighthearted moments are just not funny. Even though they're supposed to be jokes, they're written in a style that is sort of Marvel-esque in that you're supposed to find these things funny. Like Chris Pine's character is kind of sarcastic and almost like, I don't want to say misogynistic, but certainly experienced the norms of being male. When they try to circumvent those things or make Steve realize like, oh wow, Diana's really strong, and I guess even though I'm masculine, I'm the weak part of this team. I don't think those jokes really land. They're not funny, even though there were some forced laugh in the audience that we were in.
Was it forced laughter?
It wasn't forced laughter. I think it was actually more like middle-aged people who were just, I don't know, kind of goofy.
I thought they were guffawing pretty.
I guess. I mean,
I'm not saying. I thought it was fun. I didn't think like the humor, because like especially Chris Pine's line were very stereotypical, like Chris Pine lines, like when they're talking about like when he's naked in the bath and she walks up and he's like, "Oh, would you say you're average for your sex?" And he's like, "No, I'd say I'm above average." And it's like, you get it? Because he's got six-pack abs and he's superly chiseled and handsome. Oh, and he's got a bigger dick, apparently. You don't see it, but I mean, like, you get it? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's like, yes, Chris Pine. We know we don't have to have you say that. We know you're above average. Not many people, even if they worked in steel mills for 12 hours a day, are leaving the steel mill with six-pack abs because they're malnourished.
Yeah.
In 1918 world. So, yes, you're above average.
Yeah.
Somehow you kept a well-kept diet and a
protein-rich diet, and you've been hitting gym quite a bit.
So
no, but I think that,
but you're supposed to take it like, oh, it's you're supposed to take it. Oh, he means his dick.
Yeah,
he's saying he's got an above average dick, but at the same time, I'm looking at like, of course you're above average, asshole.
And perhaps he's trying to be sort of like, thinking he's embarrassed of himself, and he's saying like, well, it's not really above average, but I'm going to tell her it is because she's never seen it.
She doesn't know.
Yeah, but I mean,
she's a woman. How would she know?
How would she know these things? She's supposed to be a virgin until I screw her on her wedding day. So, but no, I don't think that for all the good things that Chris Pine does in the film, and I think he's a fairly stereotypical male hero in this film, I think that his delivery for humor is really off. I don't think it's so much that, I think in this film he's supposed to not be like, I don't know, like he's sarcastic and everything, but
he's supposed to be awkward.
He's supposed to be awkward, but I just don't buy the delivery. I think it's it's kind of cringy almost in some scenes. It's in the same sense as like in Suicide Squad, that was trying to overreaching to be funny in its one-liners. The only ones that really succeeded were like Will Smith's, because he can deliver those. But
30 years into his career, he better.
That's right. But I mean, at the same time, I feel like this is a similar style of humor, and if you don't really find it that funny, and I didn't think Suicide Squad was funny, and I don't really think Wonder Woman's funny, you're not going to like that. And I think that it's probably Wonder Woman's worst qualities is when it's trying really hard to be funny and it's just not. It's not succeeding.
No, I didn't really think it was fun, like, humorous. I like, even like the whole, like, when she, like, Wonder Woman's like, how am I supposed to fight in this? And the woman's like, oh, fight? What do you mean fight? Oh.
Yeah.
With a nice
These are feminine wiles instead.
Yeah, oh, I like her. Like, oh, is she? Oh,
Yeah.
She's cheeky.
It's forced and it's juvenile, I think. And I think that the biggest thing is that
it's very.
You can't have both. You can't have a very, very serious film about fighting in World War I, people dying in trench warfare, and then try to have a very juvenile joke dropped in there in between. If you're going to go for jokes, go a little bit darker, go a little bit more
black humor.
Yeah, black humor. It's fucking World War I wasn't fun. No one was having fun there. No one, even though Chris Pine's character at one point when Diana asks, what do people do when they're not at war? He replies, well, they get up, they eat some good breakfast, they go to work. Well, no one was getting up and thinking, I would really love to go to work today and fucking work my ass off and perhaps die because I caught on fire in the mill. No one was thinking that. In World War I era, like 1918, no one was like, oh, I wish the war was over so I could just get back to work, get my hand cut off. It wasn't a thing. So I don't like that part of it. I wish they would go a little bit darker with the jokes, because it's just not, it doesn't mesh very well.
What a great, that'd be great. It's like, well, would I rather be fighting in a trench, or would I rather be down in Panama digging out the Panama Canal and getting yellow fever?
Yeah.
Decisions. I don't know. No, you're right. I think I will give it credit for trying to have some levity. The film isn't just like have a few moments. It does try to be humorous throughout.
Yeah.
And I'll give it credit for that, because again, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman are total. There's no humor to be found here except for Lawrence Fishburne. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I'll give it credit for that, but at the same time, I think the jokes are very.
They're poorly written.
And poorly delivered, and just very, like, bare minimum effort. Like, how, kind of get political. Kind of how people are like, this is a great, like, feminist film for, like, the strong characters. Like, people probably saw, like, the trailer of, like, the chick, like, oh, she's like, how can I fight in this? I like her. She's got spunk. Like, brilliant! What a great commentary on women's right. It's supposed to be this levity you're reading too much into it. It's not. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, that's how it comes across. Like,
yeah,
it's like they're supposed to come across like, wow, like, what's smart? Women can say smart, funny things too. It's like, well, no shit. You don't need a movie to tell you that.
Yeah.
And if you're offended either way. Either side, if you're offended, like, oh, you're trying to say women are herk-a-dirk, or you're trying to say the other opposite argument of, like, men are just, like, kind of like how your sister's, like, was saying, like, oh, men are pissed off because women, there were a group of women who said only women should be able to view the screening because it's Wonder Woman for women. So them being pissed off about them wanting to do that, it's fucking stupid. Grow up. Be an adult.
Yeah.
Same side with women do that. Grow up. It's a fucking movie. Grow up. And not only that, this is not Lawrence of Arabia. There is no great statement to be had here. It's a fucking summer blockbuster action film.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
there might be some subtle undertones. It's not. You're not gonna ever walk away from any of these films going like, I found a new meaning on life.
I mean, I think the biggest thing with Wonder Woman that's empowering the females is that Gal Gadot is very good in it. And she's probably, it's empowering that she's able, and the film lets her lead it for the most part. That it doesn't really need a male masculine presence, even though they do work in a romance between Diana and Steve, but that's out of the comics, so it's not really like a thing that was done for the film itself. But at the same time, that they let Diana lead the film, and Chris Pine's character is kind of an afterthought almost. But that's probably.
But that's how it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
It's Wonder Woman, not the Steve Trevor film.
Well, but it's not come to be expected. Even though it's a film about Wonder Woman, the expectation oftentimes is that, well, Wonder Woman's there, but there's also a guy that's along with her that's pretty much leading right alongside her. I think Wonder Woman does that well.
I think at this point in where we are, if that's the case that this film came out with, people would be pissed off.
Exactly. I hope
not
so.
Even on the point of like women's like a women's rights issue. It'd be you're bastardizing the character of Wonder Woman.
True.
It'd be more of a nerd rage than a political outrage.
True. I agree.
So I'm not gonna give the film credit for doing its due diligence and making a film that's called Wonder Woman about fucking Wonder Woman.
True.
So I'm not gonna. I won't give it that.
Yeah, I know. I understand that. But I think that it is. Gal Gadot is pretty good. Is really good in it.
She's the best part.
She's the best part of it.
I think she's spot on cast as Wonder Woman. She looks the role.
Yep.
She has, cause if you think about it, she does have very, female Superman qualities. That's kind, noble. Though not, I guess not so much in the Snyderverse, because Henry Cavill's just,
yeah.
You look at me, but I mean, her character is essentially like a female Clark Kent, like kind, good, noble, and I think she does it well. And not only that, I think she portrays the naivete very well.
Yeah,
and not because she's a woman, it's the fact that she's been sheltered from mankind. That she's lived on Themyscira. She's been kept away from mankind. She was led to believe that, from the stories that she heard as a child, that, no, mankind's not bad. They were just corrupted by Ares. If Ares wasn't around, everything would be flowers and frolicking. And then when she finally gets to the world of man, finds out, no, we are pretty shitty.
Yeah, right. We're terrible, even though Ares' presence may not be there. And we'll talk about that.
I don't
want to get into the theme yet because there's more to talk about than that. I want to stick to some of the things that we liked about the film. Another thing that I thought was pretty good is the representation of World War I for the most part is pretty on. I mean, I think that there's some bad CGI. Basically, any no man's land scene is got some bad CGI with it, and it's not very realistic. But I think for the most part, any of the scenes that you see, like plane flyovers and things like that, pretty representative of what you've seen of World War I. It almost feels like it's right out of Battlefield 1.
Well, that wouldn't be a good representation of World War.
Yeah.
I will say it captures the feel of like a Battlefield 1 World War I.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like they saw the trailer and like, oh, we're going to have all this. And that's what they did. I'm not going to damn it for that, because, I think if you really know World War I, it's not going to be an exciting thing to kind of capture. Like, okay, first there's artillery barrages for 2 weeks, and once the barrage is done, then they kind of go over the trench line.
Get
I don't. 3 feet, go back,
I don't think they need a realistic depiction of how the war was fought, but I think that for what they show of the war, of what we see of what it looked like in that time period, I think it does pretty well, and it does its service. Especially considering that most of Wonder Woman in the comics is actually World War II. And it's probably changed for the most part because they didn't want it to look like Captain America as a woman. Because that's pretty much what Wonder Woman is when it boils down to it, with a shield and fighting in World War II. It's Captain America with a
I can't remember
woman protagonist.
I can't remember if she's before or after.
Well, in this case, it doesn't really matter because contemporary audience are going to see it as, oh, Captain America came out way before. He's got like 3 sequels. This is Captain America with a woman. So I think that was probably...
Well, I think World War I also works well, too, because it's 100th anniversary, like, coming up of, like, the ending. Oh, like, next year would be the 100th anniversary of the Armistice signing, and, it was in Battlefield 1 and all that. So, no, that I think that it makes sense for them to change it for that.
Yeah, to be honest, it really doesn't matter what war it is. It doesn't matter.
Could have been the Napoleonic. That would have been great. Her showing up in the Napoleonic Wars and, like, line infantry battles. Like, why are we all just marching here to get shot at? This is stupid. Like, no, it makes sense. We fire a shit ton of lead, then they fire a shit ton of lead. And then we kind of just do that for a while, and then once enough gets whittled down, you charge. Maybe have the cavalry come in from the... It's very scripted. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
But...
Well, before we get into, like, what the flaws of the film are, what else did you like about Wonder Woman? Or did we basically talk about what you liked about Wonder Woman? Okay.
I liked Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
I like Gal Gadot. I like the fact that it was not a total bore.
Yes, and I do think that we
and this is the thing we brought up when we were watching at the very end, watching the credits. We both said it's very sad that you can be like, what's one of the compliments in the film? Well, it has a beginning, has rising action, climax, then falling action, and conclusion.
It's very followable.
It actually has a story that you can follow along and
makes sense, and has the main parts of what a narrative would have. Yeah, I think, considering like what we got with Suicide Squad, which was pretty much just an edited mess together, this is a huge step up in terms of storytelling. Yeah.
I will say the direction of this film is by far the best.
Yeah.
The film, for the most part, looks good, except for the ending.
Yep.
I'm not going to even blame that on the director, because I think that's just the staple of fucking DC films at this point, where it comes to the end fight scene, they have to have it on a fucking tarmac in the dark with no lights, and it's gray, and
we'll talk about that in the flaws, but
total clusterfuck. But I mean, I think for the most part, this is a very well shot film, in spite of all the CGI, even like the very good CGI. And that's probably it.
And it's watchable.
I think the fact that the story is coherent makes sense, though not perfect, but does have like a thought and then continues to go with it.
Yeah,
that's literally what holds this film together. If this film's story was like 2 beats off to the left and somehow gets like wait, what's going on? Totally would ruin this. I think any flaw in the pace in the actual storytelling of this film would totally ruin it. Yeah, it would make it just like every other DC film. So you could be at the end say like, well, Gal Gadot was good as Wonder Woman. You'd be like, well, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Just like at the end of Batman v Superman, it's like, wow, nobody expected Ben Affleck to be a good Batman except fucking Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Because I sure as shit did it, and I left the film like, what's the positives of the film? Well, Ben Affleck was actually good as Batman. Other than that, it's garbage. So that's how this film would be. If they fucked the story up just the slightest bit, you would end up believing like, oh, Gal Gadot actually was not bad. That was good casting as Wonder Woman. Too bad the film sucked.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what puts it in the Marvel scope of like being a lower end Marvel film, is that it has a coherent storyline. It has an origin story for its character. And depending on how much you see into the flaws of the film, it's still a watchable film that you can moderately enjoy. Even if you're talking about all of the issues with it, CGI and everything else that we're going to talk about in a minute. It's still a watchable film. Whereas I don't really consider Suicide Squad a watchable film.
No, it's not.
It's not. And Batman v Superman is the yawn of justice. It's very it's very boring. It's far more boring than Wonder Woman in its slowest parts. So again, those are all good qualities of Wonder Woman. Seems like they learned something. Patty Jenkins, congratulations. You're the best director of DC so far, and we hope
please do Justice League.
Exactly. Please, or please, at least sign on for multiple Wonder Woman sequels, because we don't want anyone else, fucking with the storyline. With that said, we did have quite a few flaws that we picked out with Wonder Woman. It does have a lot of issues within the film itself. We talked about one of them, very overly long. Just completely too long in a lot of aspects. Extended moments, too many characters that don't really make a difference whatsoever.
The goddamn Scotsman who's the shaky shot because he's been through war, man.
Yeah,
he's been through war and he's just not the same. He goes off but even though he's crippled by war, and the downtime, he's singing.
Yeah,
showing that he's human.
It's absolutely not necessary to have all of those characters.
It's like, Jesus Christ, has this not been done to death?
Exactly. Both Ludendorff and Dr. Psycho, or Dr. Maru, however you want to refer to her, really not necessary either. Besides the fact that they are stand-ins for the generic bad people Germans that are
It's not even Nazis. Yet they're portraying them like they're fucking Nazis.
Yeah. It's like Danny Houston is super underused because he's a very good actor in general, and he does not get any chance to shine whatsoever. And actually, just what they do use of him is just like be generic bad guy German, please. And Danny probably was like, well, are you sure you don't want me to have like some sort of personality or something? No, just like cackle maniacally all the time.
Some complex reason for why I want the. It's not even why Germany needs to win the war.
No, there's
why does Germany have to beat Britain and France and. No, it's just like it's this very stereotypical. If we just do this one damn thing, we'll win the war. No, buddy, the war's over. No. If we just do this one fucking thing, war's over. We win. It's so been used, so overdone. It's that's like I hate that trope.
Yeah.
In film, anime, TV, where it's always like. No, it's over. Everyone's like, whatever. But there's that one guy, the one quote-unquote bad guy. It's like, no, if we just do this one thing, everything's going to be hunky-dory.
I mean, in this case, they don't give any reasoning why Germany has a stake in this. Like, what, as a actual historical World War I thing of like, why the war is actually going on, this great war, why is it actually going on? The film itself doesn't give any reasoning, doesn't give any stakes to why Ludendorff really cares that much. He's just a fucking crazy German guy who, paired up with Dr. Moreau, they're going to use these poison gas bombs to win the war, just because they want to. There's no reasoning behind it. Their characters are, as you said, just like the Rocky and Bullwinkle villains.
Boris and
Natasha, who are like the ridiculous, over-the-top people who are just villains for the sake of it.
Yeah, instead of having Soviet commies running around, you got, not quite Nazis running around.
There's actually a scene where...
It's the scene that made me dub them this.
Yes, Natasha and Boris, where both Ludendorff and Dr. Moreau are standing outside of this... armistice signing, and they throw in their poison gas bomb
because they're displeased that they're even considering, trying to sign the armistice. Because again, Ludendorff's like, if we just do this one thing, we just gas these fuckers, we're gonna win the damn war.
Yeah, we'll win instead of having to sign a treaty, basically. And that's the whole idea, that they're throwing this gas bomb in, closing the door, letting all those people who are going to sign the armistice die. But also they throw a gas mask in. And they have a little giggle because Dr. Moreau says, the gas mask won't work. And Ludendorff says, that's the point. We're just going to watch them scramble around trying to get the gas mask. And they have a really fucking annoying cackle that's straight out of something like Rocky and Bullwinkle, where Natasha and Boris are acting. And in that case, in Rocky and Bullwinkle, you're supposed to think like, oh, Natasha and Boris, they're stupid. They're fucking dumb. They're not a threat to Rocky and Bullwinkle. In this case, I mean, technically, we're really supposed to think Ludendorff and Dr. Moreau are like some serious-looking evil characters.
Look how evil they are.
I mean, because for the most part, besides the mention of Ares and Diana's feeling that Ares is around and creating this issue with World War I, we're supposed to think Ludendorff and Dr. Moreau are our main antagonists. And they're really not much of a threat. And
they're the reason that this damn war, won't end.
Exactly. And I think that the bigger issue with Ludendorff and Dr. Moreau being the main focus for the antagonists is that throughout most of the film, there is really no stakes to Wonder Woman at all. Like, are you ever nervous about Wonder Woman getting hurt or killed or not stopping them? No, never. There's never anything that is like making you think like, oh, this is like she's not gonna save the world. She's not gonna stop the poison gas bombs from destroying, Britain and everything else. There's no stakes to it. And that's my biggest issue with the storyline in general, even though later on there are some stakes when Ares actually comes into play. For the most part, there aren't really...
Yeah, but that's at the
It's at the very end. So, like, throughout most of it, you're not worried about Diana. You're really not worried about Chris Pine either because he's almost always protected by her or not even in the fight whatsoever. So there's very little in terms of tension that's generated by Diana or Wonder Woman being put in any danger. There's no danger to it. And I think that's probably, for a good chunk of like 2 hours, there's nothing there that makes you fear for Diana. And that's an issue. That's the same issue that sometimes there's a problem with Superman because he's so overpowered. Everybody knows that he's very overpowered. Not much can hurt him except for his one weakness. Well, in Wonder Woman, there isn't really a weakness at this point. There's no kryptonite for Superman that there is for Wonder Woman. It's basically just Wonder Woman kicking ass, got her bangles ready, and even if she got shot, what's the damage? She heals super fast. There's not much damage to it. There's no tension, and that's a problem.
They don't even explain really in the film how her powers work.
No,
they just say she's special.
She's special. You see her heal quickly at the beginning of the film,
and then at the end, it's like, she's actually a weapon.
Yeah,
of Zeus.
It's very. It's not explained in the same sense like Superman.
Well, I was saying, and seeing the same thing where I kind of bitched about, we all know the origin story. That's the one part, that's something that's not as well known.
You need to know.
It's how her powers work, or even at the very least, even if everyone knows, that's common knowledge, you can still. That's something you want to elaborate on. It's part of her character.
Yeah,
you don't need it's totally different from saying well, we're doing another Batman film rebooting. Time to show Thomas and Martha get shot again.
Yeah.
You don't need to...
It's important to be grounded in that sense, what hurts Diana? What can she overcome? And what are her powers? Yeah. And what does the lasso of truth do besides you swing it around people and they tell you the truth? And, all of that stuff you really do need within Wonder Woman. And it doesn't really come out that much. I think that a lot of it's not really needed in this film, but maybe perhaps in sequels and Justice League, you do need that. But at the same time, there's no tension here, so it really should have been a little bit more elaborated on. So that's one of my biggest issues, is basically the inclusion of Ludendorff and Dr. Moreau, because they're really not necessary besides the fact that they're the main antagonist you're supposed to be fearing the most.
You could have just had it be about... You could totally take them out and just have it be this huge war. It's a world war where the world is fighting with each other. So that would give Wonder Woman the impetus, if the world is fighting with each other, that must mean Ares is bad.
Yeah.
So I gotta go and fight. And then have her dealing with that and being in, quote unquote modern times for her. Mm-hmm. And then have at the end reveal that, Ares is, behind it.
Yeah.
That's, you don't need... a lot of these films just tack on these characters that aren't necessary to the plot to be well, we gotta have somebody here to kind of plug into this,
Well, basically,
and that's what this is. You don't need Ludendorff. You don't need you don't need this idea of she created a super gas. It's it's no shit. At the time, chemical warfare is a big part of the war.
Yeah.
Scientists would be constantly working on all sides of the war, trying to figure out how to make a better, stronger gas to take out the enemy. So the whole we're gonna up the ante so it's even a little bit stronger. The stakes in that are just so minimal. It's you just don't care.
Ludendorff is basically the same as Lex Luthor in Batman v Superman. The enemy that's really not the enemy until the very end.
And why is he snorting gas that gives him powers?
I don't know.
He snorts gas and it gives it super strength. And
honestly,
and it's not explained. It's not told.
And it doesn't really give him any sort of super strength that makes him...
And it has no bearing on the plot. It just happens a few times where he snorts some gas and
I think it's mostly probably to tie in with the comics. That was a thing in the comics, but it really does feel like it was ripped straight out of a Spider-Man comic, wherein one of the bad guys snorts gas sometimes. But in this case, it really doesn't do anything. It's totally useless.
It has no bearing.
It has,
It's just
and Ludendorff is basically the stand-in for Lex Luthor here, because really in Batman v Superman, there's Lex Luthor who gives way to Doomsday, who's really the big enemy in that. And in this film, it's Ludendorff who gives way to Ares, who generates the whole CGI on CGI battle sequence.
I'd say you have it the opposite way, because Ares creates Ludendorff.
His
whispering and...
Well, no, but I'm saying that Ares is... Ludendorff giving way to Ares is more so that...
Because Lex Luthor in Batman v Superman, he's a Superman. Like, I actually knew you were Bruce Wayne, and I knew you were Kal-El, and that's Ares. Ares already knew all of that. He's I was smarter than you and knew everything.
No, but I'm just saying in terms of, like, bosses. It's Lex Luthor and then Doomsday. In this case, it's Ludendorff, and then it's Ares. So it's like kind of like the whole sequence of who's really the bad guy. It's the same sort of premise. It's exactly the same as Batman v Superman.
No, I get that, but I think at the same time, yeah, the boss order is different, but at the same time, Ares is Lex and Doomsday is Ludendorff.
Yeah, I mean, because again, getting them personas, yeah.
Because again, like I said, at the same time, Ares is a mastermind. Luther doesn't do anything fighting wise. He's just like, I master manipulate everything off screen because I'm so smart. Woo,
yeah,
you know. And that's the same thing with Ares. He's like, I don't make these people fight. I just whisper things, and then they just do. You know.
But speaking of Ares, that final CGI sequence at like the end of Act 3 is really terrible. Very much reminiscent of the same sort of CGI stylings as Batman v Superman when they're fighting Doomsday.
And Suicide Squad.
Which
is a shame, because as we said, Themyscira and all that, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. This part is like trying way too hard to create a combustible, brooding atmosphere, because we're on tarmac in an air base that doesn't really look World War I-esque, that is now exploding with just flames all over the place. It's like a hellish landscape that does not look like anything besides an Injustice game level.
Except Injustice would look better.
Yeah, probably. That is one of the biggest things that's brings Wonder Woman down, especially in the third act, because that's where you really want it to shine.
And not only that, from all the terrible CGI and the CGI, just like Batman v Superman, just like with Suicide Squad, the framing of it all, like of what is going on, that final fight sequence, is not good at all.
Yeah,
it's not blocked well at all. It's very just like, here's some shit happening.
The shots are too dark. Everything is really dark and rainy and drizzly, and you can't make out what's happening. That's the biggest thing. Like, why you want those action sequences to really be punchy. And I mean, no pun intended on that one. And the darkness and the flames and just all of that does not culminate in scenes where you can make out what's going on. I think that a lot of Wonder Woman's other action scenes are pretty well blocked and they look good. Her fighting is good. Except
for the overabundant use of unnecessary slow-mo.
Yeah, it's a
problem. It's not just a few times. It is throughout, like, almost every action sequence. Hey, this Themysciran, like, bow hunter is going to be using 3 arrows at once to shoot 3 Germans, and while running off a shield to jump in the air to fire them. Slow-mo. Wonder Woman's going to do a side kick sweep and then do like a flip into another kick. Slow-mo.
Yeah, 2 hours and 21 minutes of this film. 30. You probably can get rid of like 20 to 30 minutes of slow-mo. It's a lot. And I questioned Martin at the beginning of this podcast, asking him how much time and how many scenes do you think are actually in slow-mo, and he just said too many. I don't know either. I can't think of like specifically how many scenes were in slow-mo, but it's a lot, and it's fatiguing is what I'll say, because
does anyone think like it's like good to use slow-mo? Like
I don't know. I mean, I don't, because I think it just breaks.
The Matrix called.
Yeah.
It's been almost 20 years now. This is not necessary. It's just something.
I just think that it breaks with the
immersion.
The realism and the action and the pacing of the scene itself. Like, you know, you don't want to constantly be seeing like real live action scenes that are then slowed down. It makes the whole thing slower, and it doesn't really immerse you in it.
You're not going to feel that kick harder from Wonder Woman if it's slowed down.
And if it's well directed, I mean, we really don't need to see it in slow-mo. We can see it in regular speed. So yeah, I mean, I think that final sequence is kind of a culmination of all of that. There's slow-mo. There's tons of CGI shit happening all over the place, and explosions and flames, and it doesn't even really look like real life anymore. It doesn't look like the world. It looks like some sort of alternate dimension of, the atmosphere has been sucked away, leaving only like hellish flames and stuff in the foreground. It doesn't look real. It doesn't mesh with the realism of the film.
Looks like a Nazi Zombies DLC map for like Call of Duty.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. It's the exact same thing that Batman v Superman really suffered from. And it looks like Justice League's going to be the same way, of just having drizzly, bad, blocked, vision disturbed scenes of CGI on CGI action. It's like, at that point, yeah, just boot up Injustice and have them fighting in Injustice.
Or just make an animated film.
Exactly. Make an animated film. I don't really want to see all of this CGI flame stuff. I would rather see them fighting just on a normal base or something. Normal plane of reality. We don't need to see all that CGI.
I
overused.
It's taxing.
And I gotta say that I don't really think that Ares is a very imposing enemy in this film at all.
Well, one, he's totally miscast as just an old British man.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, because you've got that.
David Will.
Yeah, you've got that. Generally he's an older British guy, and
which I kind of understand in the sense that he's the god of war, so he's cunning and like, ooh, look at me, and it fits with the time period. But the fact that the film leads you throughout essentially the entire film thinking that Ares doesn't really exist. It's all made up bullshit.
Yeah.
Men are fighting because men are men. This is what men do. They're idiots. And then he shows up to be like, oh no, I'm actually am here.
Yeah. He's here. He's just been whispering.
I don't tell them what to do or force them. I just whisper things and then they do it.
Yeah.
It's like awesome.
I think I like David Thewlis. I think he's a good actor, but I don't really buy those scenes where Ares is Ares but with David Thewlis' face. You know what I mean? Like the
essentially the
Sauron Ares fucking
Sauron armor, like he's in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but David Thewlis' face. I don't buy it. It just didn't really work for me. I like that you brought up that whole thing about Ares whispering in men's ears too, because that's a huge theme within the film. Are men really just evil? Are they goaded into it by a god of war? The film really comes to the conclusion that, yeah, men make those decisions. They are bad. People are bad, and they do bad things.
Whether they're goaded or not.
At the same time, even though the film wants to have that theme, it fucking messes it up, because at the end, when Ares is vanquished, what happens? Oh, the war's over. It's okay. Everything's fine now. We'll just sign the treaty. It's all good. Everybody stops fighting. That doesn't mesh well.
But he's, I guess technically, because he's only influencing certain, like Ludendorff and...
I don't think it matters, though.
But at the same time, he's the god of war. He should be able to have further influence and, like, I literally gotta be right up against you. Like, hey... If you add one extra hydrogen atom to this formula, your gas becomes more potent. Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I think the central idea between Wonder Woman is that men can be bad or good. They make those decisions, and
I think it's more leaning towards the hopeful. That yes, people do bad things, but we have the capacity. The fact that we have the capacity for love and kindness. And
I agree.
Overrides and will win the day.
I agree. I mean that's in the same encompassing thing. I'm talking about like what started World War I is that people are bad. They want to do bad things sometimes. But at the same time, yes, you have Chris Pine's character who sacrifices himself and wants to do good for the rest of the people. You have those characters who, part of humanity, they're good people, and that's what's gonna lead the change. And
it's such a. I don't think the film needs that because it's such a simplistic take on a very complex.
It's simplistic
on a very complex moral. Especially seeing as World War I wasn't like World War I didn't start because there's just bad people who want a murder and a threatening and the alliance of alliances and nationalism and building it it's like the whole thing that like it's not like it's not like a if you wanted to do a simple the beginnings of World War I are much more complicated than people are bad and these leaders are just glory-hungry people who want to go to war. If you wanted to go the route of Ares whispering things into man, and man then listening to Ares, and so he's betraying his inherent capacity for good. You would then have to make this start out at the beginning of man. Everything's perfect, but then when Ares falls, he's hit that guy over the head with a rock. He looked at your mate the wrong way, and that's how jealousy came into the lives of man. And you'd have to introduce that into the franchise to kind of get that whole point across in a way that's kind of simple yet meaningful.
And I basically agree because the film is then finding it's oversimplifying World War I because not only is it giving a simple conclusion that Ares is vanquished and Steve Trevor makes a sacrifice to kill himself in order to stop poison gas bombing.
The Germans were wrong the entire time.
They were wrong, and the treaty is immediately signed. I mean, basically what happens is that whole scenario occurs, and then next scene that we get is them celebrating the armistice. So it oversimplifies that. It's no, I mean, I don't really think that fighting just stopped that night. Ares is dead, so Germans and Britons alike just clasped hands and were fuck it, I can't believe Ludendorff and everybody else are dead. I'm so happy, and let's just be friends now. It oversimplifies it, and it doesn't really explain it. And I think that those themes get lost because now you're getting lost in is it really men that are making those choices? Is Ares really kind of swaying them? It doesn't really come to grips with what it wants the theme to be, and I think that's a problem with the storyline.
I don't think it's necessary
that they decide that.
No, you literally could have had it been Ares is through his being a god and he has the power to manipulate, and that's how it started. This specific war started. He manipulates certain people to keep things going, or he's letting it continue through his manipulation. I think the fact you're trying to go the whole moralistic route of trying to answer that age-old question is man actually naturally good, or are they inherently evil? It doesn't need it. It's you're trying to be complex when you don't need to be complex.
I get why they did it, though, because that's basically the inherent question with all the Zack Snyder DC Universe films. Batman v Superman, same thing. We make the choices, and Batman is a perfect example of...
That's more focused on is Superman a god. Can we trust a god?
But I mean, I think they're trying to tie this Wonder Woman storyline into those same themes of Batman being a perfect example. He makes a decision to fight crime. Is it a good decision? That's pretty much his moral question throughout. Is this decision of me to fight crime and to do these things that cause other people harm? Is it a good decision? That's the kind of the crux of the Batman dilemma.
And you would think, being the world's greatest detective and probably the smartest man on the planet, you'd figure out, no, Bruce, go home.
I mean, to be honest with you, and I think the comics do a far better job, depending on which comics you're reading, of elaborating on this, is that Batman is really not that great of a person. He's not a great character. he's not a great superhero because his unwillingness to do the things that he has to do, like kill off his enemies, which probably in some circumstances is warranted because obviously, like the Riddler and the Joker, they're smart enough to be able to get out of Arkham whenever they need to. You at that point, what do you do with them? You can't keep them in like some super base because they always get out. There's always something that happens, and Batman is not a good character because all the time they one up him every single time. And for the most part, I think the comics do a much better job of forcing him to question those.
I think that's like
ideals.
that's like the crux of the Killing Joke, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Like at the end, like, do you think at the end of the Killing Joke, Batman's killing the Joker, or he's having a laugh with him?
Yeah. Does he make mistakes by not killing people? His moral compass of saying I don't kill people, is that a hindrance to everybody else? Yeah, probably. I think so, but I don't think that any of the DC films have done that theme justice in the way that they would probably like to, in what seems like they're going for. And the same is true of Wonder Woman. I think that the themes get muddled at the end. The final act is altogether kind of reminiscent of the problems that have plagued all the other DC films so far. For Act 1 and 2, much, much better. Wonder Woman and the makers behind this film have certainly learned a lot from the previous failures. But at the same time, Act 3 kind of drops back into that. So hopefully, the next film that comes out, and I don't really remember what that is. Is it Justice League that comes out next?
Yep.
Hopefully, Justice League does learn from even Wonder Woman's mistakes in Act 3, and cleans up the CGI shit that goes on that you can't really follow, and figures out a way to make those themes a little bit more prominent. Although, from the trailers that we've seen, I don't see it happening. If what we've seen in the trailers is what we're getting in the film, I don't see it happening.
What did you think at the end of this film, after like the base is destroyed and a bunch of Kaiser Wilhelm's finest have been killed off, a young Adolf Hitler sat in the burning tarmac and saw a super Jew flying around, and that was the impetus for Mein Kampf?
It sounds about right. There should be a whole offshoot of Wonder Woman to just deal with that.
That's what I was thinking of the entire time. Like, they should have had like an extra scene where like Hitler's just like, oh, Juden.
Yeah.
This is why we lost. He's like, he could have been like Ludendorff's sidekick. Like, yes, we will win the war. And
yeah, it's a perfect offshoot of Wonder Woman, for sure. All right, so what would you give Wonder Woman on a scale of 10 lassos of truth?
Well, let's see. Once again, thinking the same thought I was. I'd give it a 6.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what you said after we saw it too. I think you said the exact same rating, 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I haven't changed on it. I think it's got some good points. I think by far it's the best of the new DC universe. You could actually sit and watch it and not be like groaning throughout the entire film. I think Gal Gadot does a very good job as Wonder Woman, which I, to be honest with you, did not expect, because though her role in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice is very limited, she didn't do anything in it that was promising of her being in the role. So this changed my mind on it, and I think she, from here on out, and I think in Justice League she might be a shining star in that, because I think she's good. I think Ben Affleck is shown to be a good Batman. I am not convinced on Henry Cavill as Superman at all.
Or Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I don't really see that either.
Yeah, no, I don't. And that we haven't seen really Cyborg and Flash yet, so I can't make that up. But I think she did a really good job. Outside of that, Chris Pine in this is just fucking Chris Pine. And I don't like Chris Pine because he just plays your stereotypical, look at me, I'm smarmy asshole douche. I'm the kind of modern day William Shatner, Look at me. I don't care for his acting really at all. So, and I don't really think anyone else stands out in the film. I think the setup's good. Though I think second act, not just the third act, I do think the second act is slow at times.
Yeah, that's true.
With them just trolloping around London, not really doing much. The third act is where it comes to a complete halt, though, and just shit happens, like in most of these films. I think they miscast Ares. I think they could have done a better job of having Ares in the film, especially seeing as he's Wonder Woman's, greatest villain, and the fact that he's now just kind of relegated to he's in it for 5 minutes. Dead, but not dead, because obviously war is still happening, so even though he was defeated, he's probably hiding somewhere, secretly influencing things that are going on, which may come down the line, not just in the Wonder Woman franchise, but in, like, Justice League as a plot point, but yeah.
I mean, I would give it maybe... I guess I would give it a 7 out of 10. I did enjoy it. I think it's pretty good. I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, perhaps combined.
No, I would agree with that. And I'll just say one thing before I forget to, because we did talk about it. And the whole moralizing, I think people are reading way too much into it.
Yeah.
I think it's there, but it's not a focal point. It's something to kind of just connect. It's there mainly because Wonder Woman is a moral character from the background that she comes from, of being somebody who's supposed to be the protector of man.
Absolutely.
So I'm fine with it being there because that's essential to her personality and her character. But I don't think it's a focal point, and I think many people who have been kind of bitching about it one way or the other of feminism, politics, and all that, you're reading way more into it than what it's actually going for. That's why, as we just talked about, it's very skin deep. It's,
right.
minimal.
Yeah, I would agree. But yeah, I think it's probably a good 7 out of 10. I think it's the best of the DC films. If the rest of the DC films go in this direction, definitely a turning point of, looking up for the franchise. So I can certainly get behind Wonder Woman and hope for some more of the same at least, and maybe perhaps learning from the mistakes of even this film going forward, especially with Justice League and Aquaman coming up. But other than that, I was pleasantly surprised, and I can't say that I feel the same loathing as I do for Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. So
now, we didn't ask the question, but where do you think Wonder Woman takes it from Chris Pine on this film?
I have no idea.
After getting to know the touch of a man, she did say in the film that she's read, the 12 volumes of, sex and pleasure.
Are you asking where the load goes?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking that it probably goes on the stomach. I'm going to say that the face is probably too demeaning, and truthfully, Gal Gadot doesn't have huge boobs, so I'm going to say the stomach.
What about on her, her braces? Could have deflected it off, like,
yeah, I don't know.
Shot it back at him.
That's, yeah.
Like, you take that.
Yeah, no, in truth, he probably shot it on himself.
He's above average.
All right, so next week, we're going to try to do the new Tom Cruise vehicle, The Mummy. And the reason we're doing that is because of all of the great reviews that have been coming out for it.
So we want to ride that bandwagon.
That's right. Or the ones that say this is the worst Tom Cruise movie ever. That's not a light statement either. That's something.
Have they not seen Days of Thunder?
Exactly. There are some bad Tom Cruise movies. So.
Especially in the past 15 years,
And it also makes sense for us to cover this because it's part of the Universal Dark Universe movies.
And I had no idea this was a thing until you pointed it out.
They're doing it. They're doing their own universe of monster movies.
So they're like what? Like Frankenstein?
They're doing Bride of Frankenstein in 2019.
And Dracula. Wait, they're doing Bride of Frankenstein?
Bride of Frankenstein in 2019.
Before they do Frankenstein.
I don't know about before Frankenstein, but I know that I saw, because The Mummy and Bride of Frankenstein were both written by the same people. So if Bride of Frankenstein is the same as The Mummy...
Why would you lead with The Mummy, though? Unless they're like, well, people will remember it because The Rock and the Scorpion King.
I think that's probably the idea.
Oh my god.
So, but we're getting into this dark universe. We're gonna start it just like we have Marvel and DC movies, and we are venturing out to see The Mummy. So get ready for that, because it should be a lot of fun.
This better be like an hour and a half film.
Oh, I would not bet on that. I'm gonna look it up right now.
No, I know.
I'm gonna look it up right now, but it's an hour and 50 minutes, so not as bad as it could be, but also probably overly long, I'm going to guess right now.
This movie should have been a 50-minute Tales from the Crypt episode.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but we're definitely going to see that and do that next. So,
oh, that's sad that without ad block on, you go to IMDb of certain movies and they have a giant ass ad for it.
Yeah, they do. They always do. Wonder Woman had one. The Mummy has one.
Yeah, I know that. Well, I have ad block on, so I don't run into these things. But
yep. So that's next on the agenda, and then coming up for a 2-year anniversary in July.
Russell Crowe's in it too. Yeah, I did Dr.
see that.
Jekyll. Why is Dr. Jekyll in The Mummy?
I have no idea.
Oh my god.
We'll find out.
Well, they're gonna, like you said,
there's a universe, so obviously it's something happening.
That. It's literally like 4 people, and then it's just random people for the rest. Like, see ya.
But and then the next time, in July, we're doing the RoboCop remake for our anniversary.
Yeah, July.
It's gonna be special. Maybe we'll get guests on. I don't know. We'll go all out. We'll have balloons, even though we'll be the only ones that can see them. We'll have balloons.
We'll take pictures for Facebook and Twitter.
All right,
that's the movie I think people have been anticipating. We've been putting that on a little stick and dangling out for a while.
RoboCop
is our 2-year anniversary gift.
The remake. All right, so the little administrative duties. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, any other podcast app. If you have a review system, please give us a nice review and subscribe to us. Really appreciate that. You can find us on Twitter. We're at Blood and Black Rum. And obviously we do retweet and share and all that stuff, so like us on there. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Blood and Black Rum podcast. Facebook kind of sucks, so we only use it slightly, but you can like us on there, and hopefully if we get enough likes, then Facebook will allow us to be seen by other people. We're also on we have an email. It's bloodandblackrumpodcast@gmail.com. Email us, let us know what you think about the podcast and any movies that you want to see us cover. And also, we have a Patreon page. It's patreon.com/bloodandblackrumpodcast. You can donate to us, help us keep the podcast afloat by giving us money monthly. It is a monthly donation, so just keep that in mind when you sign up. Other than that, thank you for listening. And we will be back next week, hopefully with a review / slandering of The Mummy. Take care.
See you later.